I think one of the things that I felt that it might not be enough. I think it's more of like the financial scheme, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes people would say that for neurotypical, I would say kids, they go for tuition classes, right? But for us with special needs child, we actually send our child, to school to actually assist them in a way in terms of the needs of their autism or ADHD or etc. Despite there is, I would say, subsidy, but I personally feel that the subsidy might not be enough in a way because it goes by tiers, right? On a certain salary, you get certain amount, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But that doesn't mean that everyone is well-to-do. If a certain amount of subsidy is not given equally, somewhere or other for us who are in the middle income, it is kind of a struggle. We actually have to, it's not a luxury like people to send their kids for tuition, but for us it's a need for us to actually send our kids for epic and etc. It's a need actually for us. So at times we do have parents saying that they have financial struggles in terms of the public as well. Coming from industry working as a HR person, I also realized that sometimes people would actually kind of have a second thoughts to have the person in the company just because they would say that they have a certain disability, so on and so forth. So I think moving forward, even in the workforce as well, we should really change in terms of the mindset. I do hear stories whereby people who have autism is actually successful in their career. I do hear people who have ADHD who are very successful in their career. So it's not about, the disability that they have, it's the ability that they have that we should see beyond in terms of that. So that is what I really hope as well in terms of moving forward, not only just parents and community, workforce as well.
Okay.
It's really about bringing everybody together to have a space where they can actually share, to let some parents know that they are not alone. So that's why we started out that podcast. So when we actually started out, we also have parents like sending DMs and telling us like, they are really feeling lonely, but when they actually hear our podcast, they then understand that they are not alone. And they also learn also from the teachers as well in terms of the things, the techniques, and etc. to actually help their child. So it's more of like a conversation starter for them to also feel belong, I would say. Because when the first time Nasir was actually diagnosed with autism, I don't know where to go actually. There wasn't a platform that I can go to. I mean, there are Facebook groups and etc. But sometimes you don't really want to talk and share. You just want to listen, right?
Yeah,
So that's where this parenting, made special came about. They do, they do actually. I still receive DMs and etc. I apologize that I may not be able to actually answer everyone because I myself is busy upgrading myself in terms of my own journey. Yeah. So, but in other words, the conversation still starts. For us, for those who get interviewed, we also became friends, So, and whenever we need help or we need advice, we actually speak to one another. So I believe that it's not just about, podcast listening, but we also create a community and even a group of friends as well at the end of the day, which is really, really nice. Yeah.
Okay.
I know that for now, government has pretty much tried, be inclusive in terms of that. I know more teachers are actually trained. I think there are some things that MOE is actually trying to do as well in terms of that, which I think can be very helpful, especially to us parents who have special needs children, because perhaps in terms of learning, it's going to be a bit different. And if we're going to put our child in a mainstream school, then it might be a struggle as well, right? Because the pace and also the understanding is a little bit different from neurotypical children. So I guess that MOE is trying as much, to have this in place and etc. So I think that was one of the good things that MOE is actually doing. I know there is special needs educators and teachers as well in schools, of certain MOE schools. But if they have more, that would actually be great. Because at times we do not realize that also in mainstream school, they also have children or maybe with mild autism or mild ADHD as well. So I think with more teachers who are trained, this will actually help the parents to at least have an ease of mind, you see.
Okay.
Thoughts, yeah. So I think as a parent, myself, For those parents who have yet to actually diagnose their child or to even understand what is the challenges that the child has, do not be afraid. Because I think for me personally, at the first time, I was really afraid as well. I mean, who wouldn't be crushed, right? To know that your child has a certain disability, and then you start to question, like, why me? Why not him? Why not them? And etc. But look beyond that. I think that the challenges sometimes it might be something that you need to go through to make yourself stronger as an individual. You would then see a different perspective of lens for your own personal self. So as a parent, to parents, I would say that don't be afraid to actually find out. Whenever you feel that there is any red flags about your child, don't be afraid to find out more. At least you're going to be there to help your child embrace the whole journey. If as a parent, if you are not the one embracing and helping your child, then who will, right? So I feel that it's also our responsibility as a parent to do that. Like don't shove it under the carpet. Like really go and find out why. How can I help my child? I always try to advocate that when someone comes to me and say that my child is not talking or etc., I would always advocate that go and find out, go to the clinics, get him referred, find out more, and then thereafter you can help your child. Yeah. So I think that that is really important for parents.